حضورنا الكريم، ننتقل إلى جلستنا الحوارية الثالثة بعنوان تعزيز التعاون الاستثماري بين السعودية وكوريا، الفرص والتحديات. يتفضلون المشاركين في هذه الجلسة سعادة الأستاذة سارة بنت عبد المحسن السيد، وكيل العلاقات الدولية وزارة الاستثمار، وسعادة الأستاذة عبدالسلام بن محمد الجبر، نائب رئيس مجلس الأعمال السعودي الكوري، وسعادة السيدة آلان يونغ الكيم، شركة ريفا لإدارة الأصول، وسعادة السيد إين هو شو، المدير التنفيذي لشركة مينتك، وسعادة السيد يونغ هاك مون، رئيس اللجنة السعودية الكورية للترويج التجاري. ويدير هذه الجلسة الدكتور صالح الحمادي.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أصحاب السمو والمعالي والسعادة، أنا ابن الأحساء البار صالح بن عبد العزيز الحمادي. أود أن أبدأ جلسة تعزيز الاستثمار بين المملكة العربية السعودية وجمهورية كوريا الجنوبية. شكرا لكم على تواجدكم اليوم في منتدى الأحساء، وأيضا شكرا على المتحدثين. نود أن نستمع إلى خبراتكم وتوصياتكم. توجد فرص كثيرة للاستثمار بين البلدين، أيضا توجد تحديات. نود أن نستمع إلى آرائكم ونستمع إلى جميع الحلول من طرفكم. Thank you everybody for being here today in Al-Ahsa Forum 2025. We are going to start the investment season between Saudi Arabia and South Korea. Esteemed speakers, we would like to listen to your opinion about how to promote the investment between both countries, as well as we have challenges which could be improved or could be solved according to your recommendations. So we will start this investment session with Deputy Minister of International Collaboration, Ms. Sara Al-Sayed.
Me? I want to thank you very much for having me here today. And for our Korean friends, annyeonghaseyo, thank you so much for coming. I just want to give a bit of context on the relations between Saudi Arabia and Korea. Both our countries enjoy diplomatic relations that exceed 60 years. Our leaders have met during the G20 in 2016, and they wanted to come up with a roadmap ahead for the relationship between our both countries. And that was Saudi Korea Vision 2030. And what it is, it capitalizes on the complementarities between both our visions. Obviously, there's a Seoul Vision 2030, and then there's the Saudi Vision 2030. As a result of that, we created 50 initiatives between both our countries in specific sectors that have been very successful. Some of which include, obviously the point of this is to diversify the economy and focus on different sectors. One that has thrived so much is the area of infrastructure. We have many leading national objectives, such as the Riyadh Metro and some refinery plants as well, in which some of the Korean companies have supported us, namely Samsung, Hyundai, and Daewoo. Also, in terms of energy, we do have Aramco that has invested heavily in Korea for the amount of $7 billion through S-Oil, which is a subsidiary of Aramco. These are just a few of many of the important initiatives between both our countries, but I would like to just take a few moments to talk about the small to medium enterprises. And the reason I want to focus on SMEs is because I just I was doing some research and I noticed that as of last year, there are approximately 80 million small to medium enterprises in Korea. This is a very sizable amount, and it offers 80% of the job opportunities within South Korea. So we realize that within the kingdom, and as a result, it's one of the main pillars that we focus on. And we also created the Global Business Center. This center is located in Riyadh Front, and the whole point of that is to support and enable the small and medium enterprises to thrive within the kingdom. We do have funds, government funds such as the PIF, for instance, recently announced a $40 billion fund for AI, and we have many private sector accelerators that also support. Munshaat is supporting MISC, WAID from Aramco. There are so many areas. But I want to leave you with just this point. We do have, as the Ministry of Investment, a dedicated relationship manager to oversee the partnership between both our countries. And we have a website, which is investsaudi.sa, that offers translation in different languages, 5 languages, and one of them is Korea. So I want to just emphasize that Saudi Arabia wants Korean companies to thrive within the kingdom, and that is a testament to it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have a question. Just since I stay in Korea for a long time, over 14 years, and I have many friends, like they have some startup companies and would like to invest in Saudi Arabia. They almost like they express like there is some, in Ministry of Investment, like some difficulty in opening like license for that one.
Yes.
What do you think, how can we improve to make it more easier for them to apply or to meet the standard required by Ministry of Investment?
Absolutely. Well, most recently, we also did some regulation changes. We have the new investment law that was developed, and that is to promote transparency. And a lot of the Korean or any international companies can have 100% ownership of their companies within the kingdom and in specific sectors as well. So the regulatory part is very important, and we're taking that into account. And as I mentioned, our website is offered in Korean as well, and this is a recent revamp of the website. And there is the dedicated office, which is the Global Business Center, for the small to medium enterprises to take them through this whole process. And as I mentioned, the relationship manager and the Ministry of Investment, it is the one-stop shop to support them and is the interlocutor with other ministries as well to offer any support that they need to take their business forward.
Thank you very much. This is a great thing, since now the Ministry of Investment website, they update it with Korean language. I guess if we promote that one, will be much easier for them. But we need a promotion so they can know there is Korean language there.
And I asked you to check it, but I want you to check the translation.
Sure, I will check. I will give you my review about
Great,
it.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we're gonna move to Mr. Abdulsalam Al-Jabr. He's the Vice Chairman of Saudi Korea Council, as well as active committee in Al-Ahsa'A board. Mr. Abdulsalam, you have long-term history in business with South Korea, maybe before the establishment of this kind of South Korean and Saudi Arabia business office. So what is your point of view about how can I be success in, or how can we improve the success in this good relation in investment between both countries, and what is your recommendations?
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, annyeonghaseyo. Welcome all our guests from South Korea. It's my pleasure really today to speak about the investment perspective between Saudi Arabia and South Korea. Actually, I will try to skip some slides just to get to the exact time that you need. It was my pleasure really to work with Kia Motors for the last 17 years. And since the first visit to South Korea, I was engaged very much because I saw something that I could not see in any other country, which is the kind of respect and love that the Koreans have for the Saudi Arabians. And that's something you can see it in everywhere, in all the streets. And this is something that we really appreciate, and I think something that we should also, and we have the same really feelings, and we hope to use these feelings for more cooperative between the two countries. When we started with Kia Motors, it was a very tough start because it was new to the market, and we have to show the customers how much the quality of the products. At the same time, we were believing on what the Koreans have of high quality and how much they concentrate on this item. At the same time, we have tried our best through marketing, test drive, and all the activities that make this thing very easy for us. Also, I represent the Saudi Korean Business Council, as well the الأحساء forum board member. And if I can support anyone in this case, it was my pleasure. In the Saudi Korean Business Council, we try to provide as much as we can all the support that any Korean company would need to invest in Saudi Arabia. The cooperation and helping them in finalizing any government work, any investment relation or connection. We have also our website where you can go, click on it, and communicate with us. And soon there will be an office for the Korean Council in Seoul where we can serve you face to face. The relation between the two countries, it is very old. Since the early 70s, the Koreans were doing great projects in Saudi Arabia. We see it in the airports, the port, in many projects in the infrastructure. We always remember the Ministry of Interior building, a very unique and very high quality developed. And from that time till today, still all the unique projects has been done by the Korean hands. The relation, especially the trade exchange, is on its high level. Korea now is the ranked fourth in the export of Saudi Arabia, even before the US. And if we look to the growth rate, it is the highest among all the other countries, the top 10 countries, with 62% increase, and with a short gap between even the second. And if we continue with this growth rate, I think in 2-3 years it will be the second. But if we look to the other side, the imports from Korea, we can see Saudi is number 8, and I think there is a good opportunity for the Korean companies to come and invest in Saudi and to do business together. The most three sectors from Korea to Saudi are the transportation, machinery, and the electrical equipment. And from Saudi to Korea is the oil product, organic chemicals, and non-organic chemicals. I'm sure that you have read a lot about the Saudi Vision 2030. It has a very high KPIs, but what I would like to say today that almost 80% of these KPIs have been achieved in 2025. And I'm sure that soon maybe the government will announce for a higher KPIs to be done. And this is something that attracts all the outside foreign investments to come to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is the first in the cyber security. It's number 12 in the business efficiency. And in the competitiveness, it's number 16. There is so many things that we can speak, but I just like to highlight some of them. There is 3 cities from Saudi cities supposed to be in the top 100 places for the quality of life. The number of population growth, it is the highest among the G20. Also, the average age has exceeded 8 years. Saudi Arabia is doing a lot of work to invest in the technology, and we can see today how much they are enhancing the use of data and of AI, and putting the policies and governors for all the projects. That will make the investment very easy in Saudi Arabia. And there was a lot of laws that also make everything governance and organized very well. The big projects, very giga projects in Saudi Arabia like NEOM, Dir'iyya, Qiddiya, Red Sea, the new Murabba, the airport expansion, the Riyadh Airlines, the line, Amala, so many big projects, plus the Expo 2030, the World Cup is coming, the Asian Cup is coming, and behind those big projects, there is a lot of thousands of projects and things that the SMEs can do to make these projects at the end ready, and this is also a very important thing. From my opinion, I suggest always to invest in some major sectors like the healthcare. It really have a big opportunity in Saudi Arabia. The energy also, technology. At the same time, there is the tourist is flourishing now in Saudi Arabia and have a lot of opportunities. The transportation, and behind each project of these, there is a smaller and smaller projects. Like as example, when we see today Hyundai, Kia Motors investing in having a CKD in Saudi Arabia, it's not about the whole vehicle itself. No, there is hundreds of products that we need to have it as a local content in Saudi Arabia. So the cooperation between the knowledge of Koreans and the investment of Saudis can help these projects very much. And the last and important thing is Al-Hassa. Why do we come to Al-Hassa and why we invest in Al-Hassa? Al-Hassa is the largest oil and gas producer. Al-Hassa is the largest oasis in the world and have big opportunity in the agriculture, as we have seen today in many sessions. It has a very unique logistic location where it helps all the GCC countries and the Saudi cities to communicate with each others. And the tourist also is a nice place. But I would like to ask you, which more attractive reason that you think is Al-Hassa are amazed with? Thank you very much. Yes, it's the people, the human resources of Al-Hassa. If you come to invest on Al-Hassa, you always can find the hard-working people, the people who can work as a worker, as a teacher, as a doctor, as an engineer. You can have 100% Saudization if you are coming to Al-Hassa. So don't miss this opportunity. You are most welcome to Al-Hassa. Thank you very much. Kamsa Hamida.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdalsalam, for your nice presentation, as well as your insight is valuable and your recommendation is good. However, I have a small question to you. I am like in South Korea. When I am there, they have like something like similar to Google, which is never searching engine. So we are easy, Korean, they are easy, they can access to this kind of project, like it's mega project like Al-Giddiya or Amala or that one. However, I do believe we are speaking about SMEs, but counterpart of SMEs, it should be about mid-sized project or small-sized project. I think this kind of small projects or mid-size should be also promoted in both countries, even South Korea. Also, South Korea, their projects, we have many sectors in Saudi or many companies, they can also opposite contribute in South Korea economy. Yes. For example, we have in energy sectors, like for EPC companies like Samsung, Hyundai, GS, they have like the big part of the project in the country. However, we are speaking about subcontractors who can make like some part of these things, which they need also to make some like localizing, as well as the opposite side between Saudi and Korea, from Saudi side to Korea side, such as like fruits, vegetables, or medical. We have a lot of company related to medical and the drugs development. I guess this is need to be also emphasized and improved.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you so much. I think this is why we are here today, and maybe why we were there together in Seoul in last July. The Saudi Korean Council is trying its best to give an opportunity for both countries, the SMEs especially, to meet together. There was around 55 businessmen came from Saudi to Korea on that just 7 months ago, and today we can see that almost 21 businessmen and academic people are coming. I think the Ministry of Investment are doing a lot of effort to they give the attractiveness and also to give the opportunity how they can learn. Chamber of Commerce also are giving a lot of opportunity. Anyone who can communicate to Al-Hassa Chamber, they can see a lot of opportunity there, and which can link very easily between the two investment men, let's say, partners.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Mr. Abdalsalam. And we would like to move to Mr. Yun Hak Moon. Mr. Yun Hak Moon, he has long history in Saudi Arabia. He almost regularly coming to Saudi Arabia since 1980. He's the chairman of the Korean Trade Office Promotion. So, Mr. Moon, we would like to have your insight about how can we localize technology in Saudi Arabia through partnership with South Korea. So,
thank you. Your Excellencies and distinguished guests, many thanks for having me here in Al-Hassa. This is Moon from Korea, also the chairman of Saudi Korean Society. I'd like to introduce a little bit about Saudi Korean Society. It's mainly for small, medium-sized Saudi companies and small, medium-sized professional Korean companies do not know each other, the concerned field and specialties. So they do know, most Saudis, they do know about Samsung, Hyundai, LG, SK, etc. So Saudi Korean Society is formed in 2012 in order to promote mutual benefit for both parties. Under the leadership of the Dr. Abdul-Latif Osman and his colleagues, Minister Muhammad Jasser, was supported, I was very well supported to form this organization. Korean community is ready to invest in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia with those small, medium-sized local companies in various fields, but professional way only, not in general. I'd like to explain through two simple practical issues which is very necessary as I observed during last 40 years between Saudi Arabia and Korea. So I prepared some materials, so I'd like to present it to you. Your Excellencies, my agenda is there are many old sewage treatment plants, about 20,000 in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which was built 1970s and 1980s. So it's very old. So I'm going to talk about only not the latest built by a lot of Saudi local companies with the latest technology. I'm talking about which was built 40, 50 years ago. Still, there are 20,000 small, medium-sized Majari. I heard Majari in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia from Toraif until the Jubei, Hofuf, Hassa, many areas. And this is not only built by national water companies and the Ministry of Water. There are many other authorities such as Aramco, Marafiq, Modon, and also military authorities. Many of those plants cannot produce qualified treated water because it was built 50 years ago and there was no strict regulation at that time to reuse those treated water. And also those plants were built outside of the city, but now Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is growing so fast. So outside of the town now became the city. So this caused many bad smells and dirty, environmentally not friendly and harmful for human bodies. Then, shall we demolish all those 20,000 old plants and build new? It can be a solution, but we have to spend a big amount of money and wait for a long time for new construction and new networks. So here is I brought a small solution. In Korea, we developed the latest technology by IT control system with world-famous Danish engineer Dr. Marinus Nielsen to improve the quality of 50 years and increase the quantity of 50 years to supply enough treated good water, especially for Hassa, for irrigation purposes. So we can make 10,000 cubic meters per day. From 10,000, we can make it 20,000. And the quality is, with technical word, BOD, 25 to 10, to meet the current specification of the Ministry of Water. Then also, it saves 30% of maintenance cost, because until 2020, since 1960s, some lagoons like a pond in the desert is a good solution for Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at that time, is evaporation naturally. And until current technology is 3 tanks. The most important thing for Majari is treated tanks. The number of tanks which are used currently, even currently, by Europeans or by Saudis or by other nationalities, they use 3 tanks technology. Dr. Marinus Nielsen and the Korean people spent 5 years, not in the office, in the field, actual Majari operation for 5 years, and we finally succeeded in operating, instead of 3 tanks, to operate by 1 tank to finalize all the process. This is the key issue to reduce the cost of construction and maintenance cost, especially carbide, because a lot of consumption of electricity by existing Majaris.
Mr. Kim, Mr. Yon, excuse me. So we need to give some time
Okay.
for the other. We have 2 guests, so please can you conclude your speech
Okay.
and your recommendations?
Korean community is ready to invest in upgrade of these 40 years old plants by BOT on a successful basis. After completion of the project, we are not going to ask any money from the Saudi government. We are going to build it with local companies, and on a successful basis after completion of the project, then we will develop some other issues. So my conclusion is the most important thing must start from private sectors, small, medium-sized companies. What is it? I am Korean. Yes, I am proud of Samsung or Hyundai or LG. But what is Hyundai and LG and Samsung? They are not producing gears or the bearings, or all those are coming from small, medium-sized professional companies. Those professional, small, medium-sized companies, local companies, going to be the strength of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and for the future. Is my conclusion.
Mr. Mon,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
I brought a small gift from Korea to Hassa. Wallahi Hassa, Al-Hassa, Asa Mintani Medina. And I came to Hassa to build a dream city
Thank you.
with the small, medium-sized companies together.
Mr. Yun.
Thank you
very
so much.
Thank you, everybody. Now we're going to start the discussion with Mr. Kim Yun-il. Mr. Kim Yun-il, he has very deep relation with GCC countries, many networking, many matchmaking. He already achieved between South Korea and Emirates, Qatar, and Saudi. Mr. Kim, he's the director of international investment in Rifa company. We would like to have your insight about which kind of challenge the Korean investors are facing to invest in Saudi Arabia. Also, I would like to ask you which kind of sectors is weak, need to be more invest from Saudi side to Korea and Korean side to Saudi. Yes, you can start.
Thank you, Dr. Saleh, for the opportunity to speak here. I would like to break protocol by gently standing up because this is to show that perhaps we should try and address our challenges in a different way. Not the usual protocol, because I think by breaking protocol, so far, invited here, I'm the only banker. So we were all talking about corporations. Me being the only banker here, perhaps I should be delivering a different story with a different context. Why? Because I think by translation mistake, they named me CEO Alan Young-il Kim. People call me Alan, but take that CEO as Chief Entertainment Officer. Three things that I feel that the Koreans have trouble with when approaching Saudi Arabia. Number one is information. The Koreans, we really hope to have some more detailed access to quantitative information, not the emotional information about, oh, it's wonderful, it is nice, there are, in this kind of sense. Because the government does their role, but at the end of the day, we need the private sector to complete the mission. The government could be the pipe, and the private sector has to be the water or the oil that gets the mission done. And availability of the counterparts information, I found, is very, very scarce in Saudi Arabia. For example, disclosure information, even the Tadaul company's information, The disclosure information is, I feel that it could be a little bit more robust. And of so many great companies that are not listed, of a certain reputable size, if we could have a better representation, a better presentation, I think would help to connect the Korean private sector companies to discover. Because so far, when you ask anybody walking down the street in Seoul, Korea, people will say, do you know any company in Saudi Arabia? They will say, perhaps Aramco. But that is the end of it. So perhaps the PR end of trying to disclose more information about the great companies of Saudi Arabia would be wonderful. Second would be strategy. Unless the business is not pertaining to the military sector, Korea is mobilized by private sector. Many make the mistake, or I would say the protocol, the comfortable protocol of having government and governments to try and foster the relationship between the private sectors. Perhaps it is the practice in Saudi Arabia, in many other countries. In Korea, a very unique country, in Korea, the private sector drives it. And we refrain or try to fend from the dictates of the government because of many reasons. And so I strongly recommend we find ways to have the company-to-company interaction rather than governmental interaction when seeking relationships with Korea. Capital market is the oil that makes the engine run smoother, and perhaps we should try to reach out for the private sector capital markets. I sincerely hope to contribute in that because of my profession. And lastly, it's the cultural part. When I was coming here, many people asked me, oh, is it safe there? I know, I'm sure you've been victims of this abuse due to a certain prejudice that has been, forced upon the globe because of a certain propaganda or agenda, which I'm not going to touch, because this is going to be a little bit dangerous. Yes, uncomfortable, better. But Koreans, we come from a country that is divided over 60 years next to a neighbor with a nuclear weapon, with the biggest military base that you can imagine. We have the largest artillery in the world. Yet, when we travel to the Middle East, people ask me, is it safe there? So we have to overcome this challenge. And in that point, I did engage the MBC, the production company in Korea, the largest and the most reputed broadcast company. And the producer and the broadcast company has agreed that they will engage in creating a 2-series documentary for Saudi Arabia to be properly represented to the South Korean public. And I hope that in that same spirit, better PR, better cooperation between the private sector will, at the end of the day, succeed. People say that, oh, this may be a great challenge because not very many people have walked this path. But believe me, Our Highness, Mohammed bin Salman, he's brokering peace between Russia, USA, Ukraine. Do you think our job is more difficult than his? I doubt it. It's going to be an easy job. Thank you. There's a saying that I've learned recently. Amateurs, when they reach a limit, they stop. Professionals, when they reach the limits, that is when they start to run. And I'm sure we're all professionals here, and I look forward to holding hands with professionals in Korea and in Saudi Arabia to really overcome this prejudice, this misunderstanding, and this dislocation of information. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do you mind if I just make a quick intervention on the comments that you've made, if that's okay? First of all, I love the points that you brought on, and in the spirit of transparency, I think that these are, the comments that you made are comments, this is not the first time I hear them. So it shows that there is an issue there, obviously. I want to let you know that the Ministry of Investment is a new ministry. It's only been in inception for 2-3 years. So we realize that we're constantly changing and we're fixing things. I refer to our website, and in the website, you will see that there are sectoral opportunities, and it includes also feasibility studies, because sometimes you rely on these consultancies and pay them enormous amounts of money to get those feasibility studies and to see if this is a match or not. So I do encourage you to check out our website, and I'm saying that it's not a perfect system. We're not perfect. We're learning, and we learn from our partners, and it's very important for us to hear with open ears and to be able to make these changes that you have so kindly referred to. Also, in terms of the private sector, that they're the ones that manage the relationship with Korea, I fully agree. And there's not a one-size-fits-all, and we do work with a lot of partners like Kotra and others, and they offer a lot of great support, but I agree with you that it's not a one-size-fits-all. To your last point, which is the most important part to me, which is the cultural part, it's an actual grievance that I have with our country, because you have to understand that in our religion, we're not boastful. So when we give the poor and we do kindness, we don't want to talk about it. As with that, our achievements, we're not boastful about our achievements, but at the same time, it works at our disadvantage. I have worked in public diplomacy previously, so I know that media is an outlet, but at the same time, not everybody's going to listen to media. I think seeing is believing, and I think what is a great opportunity is individuals like yourself. I passed by you in the hall and I thought you were Saudi, honestly. So I think that people like yourselves are our ambassadors, and I think it's important that seeing is believing, and for people to come and to speak on Saudi Arabia and for them to come and see it for themselves. But I applaud you for the comments that you've made, and I truly enjoyed your intervention. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Thank you, Ms. Sarah. And last panelist, we have Mr. Cho, the head of R&D in Mintic company from South Korea. So, Mr. Cho, I would like your insight about, we have now good progress in a collaboration between R&D centers, between universities, like between Saudi Arabia and South Korea, such as like Korean Energy Research Institutes and King Abdullah City of Science and Technology, as well as King Abdullah University. However, in terms of companies, how do you think like the progress, or how can we promote the R&D centers in major companies in Korea to collaborate in R&D center with companies like SABIC or Aramco or others?
Okay. Thank you for giving me good chance to speak about very important topics. And as you know well, the research and development collaboration plays a crucial role in driving innovation and economic growth. South Korea and Saudi Arabia have complementary strengths that can enhance their R&D efforts when they are combined. There are several areas where South Korea and Saudi Arabia can collaborate in R&D. And I'm here to take out our good example from my company in Korea. In Korea, Mintech, which is I work for the battery evaluation development, is developing algorithm and the test equipment that evaluate battery performance and status. And test data under various conditions and the different test statistics is very important. In that respect, we are conducting battery diagnosis and performance evaluation tests by establishing a battery test center in collaboration with Hyundai Motors, in collaboration with which is a global company at mobile industry in Korea. So I think this experience can be applied to Saudi Arabia also. In this test center, researchers from both countries can develop and test new recycling techniques for lithium battery and other battery types. This center would serve as collaborative platform for advancing battery life cycle management and creating sustainable disposal solutions. As I know, there are already many application areas to use battery in Saudi Arabia, such as electric vehicle, like Lucid, and the ESS used for solar power generation. Introducing this kind of battery test center with Hyundai Motor will be of great help in researching specialized battery test measures. Okay. So I think that there are much more remain process to apply our experience to Saudi Arabia, but this is just the first step. So let's talk. I hope, I expect that this speak can be the beginning of the discussing about this approach. Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Saleh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chu. We would, and all panelists today, of course, like all your insights is valuable, and this kind of event, like thanks to Al-Ahsa Chamber to create, because this kind of event, if it's increased or too much in both nations, we could, although we have good channels between South Korea and Saudi, but we could make this channel be more stronger and more deep. For example, as we suggested, like Mr. Cho, like to have some R&D collaboration between Lucid company and your company, which is major company in power, like a power test of EV batteries discharge and charge. So thank you, everybody. And we hope to extend more discussion, but the time is finished. Thank you very much.
Dr. Saleh, let me finalize.
All right.
As a representative of Saudi Korean community, and the Korean community has a plan to build the factory, something with the latest technology, with Saudi companies build a factory, even not in a big factory, even small factory, to make it made in Saudi Arabia, not made in Korea and export to Saudi Arabia. It was 50, 60 years old fashion. Now we have to build it together, and the Korean community also should be changed in a different concept. We are doing Vision 2030, not 1950s, 60s. So I am promising you in front of distinguished guests and Your Excellencies that Korean community is going to be changed and bring more professional factories and companies made in Saudi Arabia, selling them locally and export outside. Is my promise. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And there are some hard copies I prepared. I will deliver it to the organizers when you need. It's written in Arabic.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moon. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moon.
ويتفضل سعادة الأستاذ عبد المحسن بن عبد العزيز الجبر نائب رئيس مجلس إدارة الغرفة سابقا لتكريم المشاركين في هذه الجلسة. حضورنا الكريم، أسعدتونا وشرفتونا في يومنا الأول في منتدى الأحساء 2025، ونذكركم أن غداً ستبدأ أولى جلساتنا في تمام الساعة 9 صباحاً، فأهلاً وسهلاً بكم. دمتم بخير.